Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living Life Naturally. So I'm so honored and thrilled to have you here with me today and joining to this Tea and Truth series, Honest Talk for Women in Midlife. And on the Living Life Naturally podcast, we do explore everything that helps you thrive and not just survive in this powerful season of life. We talk about natural, holistic solutions for your health, your hormones, your energy, and your mindset. Because midlife isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning of an entirely new chapter. So ladies, before we dive into today's conversation, I'd love to invite you to come and join us in my free Facebook community, the Energized Healthy Women's Club. It's a beautiful space that's safe, where I share weekly tips, strategies, and inspiration to help you boost your health, vitality, and well-being in natural, practical ways. So grab your favorite cup of tea or coffee, get cozy, and let's get into today's episode. So in this episode, we're busting some myths about menopause and even touching on what your doctor might not tell you. And let me tell you, today's topic is one that I'm fired up about. And trust me, this one's going to ruffle some feathers, but in the best possible way. So let's start here. Why is myth busting even necessary? Well, because for far too long, women have been misinformed, misdiagnosed, or outright dismissed when it comes to perimenopause and menopause. Now, doctors may mean well, but most receive little to no formal education on menopause in medical school, and the average is less than 4 hours. And we're talking about a transition that affects literally half the population. Now, I can't tell you how many of my clients have come to me saying, my doctor said my labs were fine, but I feel just awful. They told me it's just aging. I should expect to gain weight and lose energy, or even worse, it's all in your head. And today I want to say with all the love in the world, it's not all in your head. It's actually in your hormones. It's in your nervous system. It's in your gut. And yes, it's in your soul. And this is why these conversations matter, because when we start peeling away the myths, we start reclaiming our power. So how many of us grew up thinking menopause hits at 50, just like a light switch? Well, this is such a myth. The truth is that perimenopause can actually start as early as your late 30s or early 40s, and it can last 8 to 10 years before you even reach menopause. For me, it started with the little things. My sleep was off. I felt more anxious than usual. I had brain fog and wondered if it was because I was just too stressed. And my moods were just all over the place. I was always so drained and tired. I really seriously began to think something was seriously wrong with me. So does this sound familiar to you? I really wish someone had told me back then that those symptoms were all part of the hormonal shifts of perimenopause. Now, I personally began noticing changes at age 39 and kept wondering, well, is it just stress? Am I doing something wrong? It really took learning the truth that perimenopause can last 8 to 10 years to understand that my body was changing and I needed new support strategies. So here's an actionable tip for you. Start tracking your cycle, your symptoms, and your energy levels. Write down your energy levels, your mood changes, and your sleep patterns. Look for those patterns month to month. Now you can use a journal or even an app like MyFlow or Balance to spot those patterns. You don't need to wait until you're skipping periods. Symptoms often show up years before that. So the earlier you notice these changes, the sooner you can support your body. Now, another myth, that menopause is just a drop in estrogen. So I like to put it this way: menopause is a hormonal symphony, and every instrument matters. Menopause is a shift in multiple hormones, not just estrogen. Progesterone, testosterone, insulin, and cortisol all play vital roles. Even science shows that progesterone often drops first, and this leads to anxiety and sleep disruptions long before estrogen significantly declines. And that's why anxiety, mood change, and insomnia often show up in your early 40s. Estrogen fluctuates wildly, not just steadily declining. And testosterone, well, these changes can affect your energy, your muscle, and your libido. And then don't forget cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and your insulin, your blood sugar regulator. I know it can all be so overwhelming. So here's a tip for you. Stay with one thing. Focus on balancing your blood sugar. And you can achieve this by starting your day with protein. Now think eggs, a smoothie with protein powder, Greek yogurt, and then pairing carbs with fats or protein. And then reducing refined sugar and processed foods. That's a huge one. Balanced blood sugar equals less roller coaster with your mood, your weight, and your energy. Now, this next one again gets me all fired up because have you ever been told everything looks normal on your labs, you're just fine? And that's the one I heard most often. And then maybe you walk out thinking, but I don't feel fine. Here's the truth. Normal doesn't mean optimal. Most doctors are using wide lab reference ranges that are based on averages, not on how a healthy, thriving woman in midlife should feel. So I'll give you an example. TSH, which is your thyroid, the normal that they use is up to 4.5, but most women feel their best at 1.0 to 2.0. And vitamin D, normal at 30, but the strong hormone and immune support is optimal at 50 to 70. So, ladies, you might want to get out your notepad for this actionable tip. Ask for a full thyroid panel, not just a TSH. That includes free T3, free T4, reverse T3, and thyroid antibodies. Now, I'll tell you this from what I experienced. Your doctor often won't run that, and if he won't run it or she won't run it, then consider working with a functional or integrative practitioner to get your lab works done. And then also keep a symptom log. And this piece is so important. Advocate for yourself. You know when something's off. No one else is going to do it for you. So go for it. Be your own advocate with your physicians. Now, when requesting your labs, be sure, as I said, to ask for that full thyroid panel and not just a TSH. And if you didn't have your notepad out, that's the free T3, free T4, reverse T3, and the antibodies. And then go to the doctor with the log of your symptoms that you have been recording. You are your best advocate. And then the next myth is also one that it really breaks my heart. You don't have to just accept feeling exhausted, invisible, and moody, because we often hear in this myth that it's, oh, just aging, deal with it. But it's not that way. You don't have to accept that. It's a transition, not a life sentence. The truth is, menopause isn't something you just have to suffer through. There are natural lifestyle-based ways to feel vibrant again. So I'm going to give you 5 foundational tips for hormonal health. Again, if you got your notepad out, here they are. Number 1, prioritize sleep. Number 2, manage stress like breath work, nature, journaling. Number 3, eat anti-inflammatory foods like greens, omega-3s, or turmeric. 4, move your body. So walk, strength train, stretch. And then lastly, reframe your mindset. You are not broken, you're becoming. Now, even science shows that lifestyle choices like sleep, nutrition, movement, stress support can make a huge difference. So I'm going to give you two bonus myth-busting tips today. Number one, hormone therapy is dangerous and should be avoided. I'm sure we've all heard that because there's a lot of fear here. And yes, hormone therapy isn't for everyone. I tried it myself. It did not work well for me. But science today paints a much more nuanced picture than it did 20 years ago. There are safe, bioidentical options that can be life-changing when used under the proper guidance. So I'm going to give you some actionable steps that you can take. If you're struggling, find a provider who's trained in menopause care. Don't let fear of outdated headlines stop you from exploring all of your options. And there are a lot of options out there for you to explore. So really do your research there. Talk to some women who are friends maybe who have been through this. And then myth number two, that's the bonus. Menopause means you're no longer feminine or attractive. And I don't know if this is said to us a whole lot, but I know we definitely feel that. And old ladies, if I could bust this myth once and for all, I would shout it from the rooftops. Because somewhere along the way, society has sold us the lie that a woman's beauty and desirability, even worth, have an expiration date. And that date magically appears the moment your hormones shift. But here's the truth. Your worth, your beauty, your vitality, they do not have a clock. Midlife isn't when we fade into the background, ladies. It's when we start to shine in a way that's deeper, richer, and more real than ever before. Because for the first time, many of us stop living to please everyone else. We start living for ourselves. We've been through enough life to know what really matters, and that confidence is magnetic. Beauty in this season isn't about trying to look 25 again. It's actually embracing the woman you are now in all her wisdom, her strength, her humor, and resilience, and yes, her allure. Your smile lines tell a story. Your eyes carry a spark, and your presence has weight and warmth. That is feminine, that's attractive. So if anyone, including that little voice in your own head, tries to tell you menopause means the end of your beauty, I want you to remember this. You are not past your prime. You are your prime. So let me leave you with this truth. You are not broken. You are becoming. You're not losing yourself. You're meeting a deeper version of you. So this season is asking for your attention, not your shame. We're done with that whole shame thing. This is a season of deep transformation. It's asking you to tune in, trust your intuition, and support yourself in a new way. And you don't have to go it alone. That's what this Tea and Truth series is here for, and that's what I'm here for. And please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. You'll find all of the links in the show notes below. So thank you for spending time with me on this Living Life Naturally podcast. And I hope that today's conversation has inspired you, encouraged you, and reminded you that midlife isn't something to endure, it's a season to embrace. If you enjoyed this episode, would you do me a huge favor? Take a minute to leave a 5-star review rating and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. And don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an opportunity to get the latest episode. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll be the first to know when a new episode drops. As I said, you'll find the links in the show notes below. And then lastly, I'd love it if you'd share this episode with a friend who needs to know she's not alone. So, ladies, until next time, remember, you are strong, you are wise, and you are just getting started. So take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Remember, you are totally worth it.